Hello everyone! Welcome back to the Casino Co YouTube channel. I'm your host, and if you remember from the last episode, we went through how I rose from the ashes of procrastination and found a new meaning in service to my school and my friends. In this episode, we will talk about the beginning of the Casino Co entity at Trinity Lutheran School and how I was able to even accomplish this enormous task. So join me as we go through Chapter 1. Chapter 1, where it begins. So now, let's talk about the entire premise that this company is based off of. The Casino Buck. Now, what were these casino bucks? Well, obviously they're copied pieces of Monopoly money that I copied using my printer. But what were they really? Well, I'm glad you asked. They were a source of currency that people would buy or exchange with the Casino Co company or with each other in trade for better goods. Now, what could you use these casino bucks for, and how could you accumulate them? Well, on the back counter of the 7th grade classroom and the 8th grade classroom, 7 comics were posted from the Goldie the Casino Raptor series. On the top corner of these comics, a casino book would be taped to them. That was one free way to get it as kind of a reward for reading the comics. Another way you could get them was, well, buying them with actual money. Here we have the second page of the catalog. For the first deal, we have $1 for one stack, which a stack is 7 casino bucks. So that's $1 for one stack. The next deal is kind of a rip-off. It's $4 for 2 stacks of casino bucks. The reason that one is a rip-off is because, well, the next one, the suitcase, is $6, which is 15 stacks of casino bucks. Now, just to remind you, we went from $4 for 2 stacks to $6 for 15 stacks. Yeah, I don't really know what I was thinking with that. But yeah, that was how most people accumulated mass amounts of casino bucks over the years. And then on the bottom corner of the second page of the catalog, we have Spam Tin from the hit game Deltarune advertising the casino bucks for me and why you should spend your money on them. On the front page of the catalog is what you could buy using these casino bucks. You could buy these Goldie the Casino Raptor comics in case you missed any in the series, or you could buy candy. A lot of people used to buy candy when this Casino Co first started and these catalogs first started to go around. Here is the front page of the catalog. Here you can see the Goldie comics being charged for 99 cents or 1,000 casino bucks. Originally, I thought the casino bucks were going to be a sort of side currency. I didn't really think they were going to hit off that well, but it turns out I was proved wrong. Here you can see a miscellaneous piece of candy on sale for 500 casino bucks. By the way, I must remind you all that one casino buck is literally worth 500. So when it says 500 casino bucks, that's 1 casino bucks. When it's 3,000 casino bucks, that's 4 casino bucks. As you can see, this is the first catalog from October 2021. Golly, I can't believe it's been 5 years already. Here is the second page of the catalog with all the casino bucks for sale. Here's a pretty modest deal, if I do say so. A deal for if you're not willing to spend a crud ton of money on casino bucks, but still want some. This is a pretty good one for that. Originally, for $2, you'd get 1 stack of casino bucks, but later on in Casino Co.'s lifetime, that price would be changed to $1. This deal, okay, to be fair, this deal was always to rip people off. I mean, $4 for 2 stacks?
Come on now, that's terrible. I mean, okay, maybe it was a bit more justifiable back when the one stack was $2, but once I dropped the price to $1 for one stacked, the $4 deal for two stacks was just a big ripoff. I knew what I was doing with that one. I was ripping people off. Aha! The suitcase. The deal that single handedly caused inflation in the company. The best seller. What is there not to say about this deal? From $4 for two stacks, all the way to $6 for 15 stacks. That's a fantastic deal. And to remind you, there are 7 casino bucks in each stack, and each individual casino buck is worth 500. So that is a lot of casino bucks. Here we have Spamton G Spamton from the hit game Deltarune advertising the casino bucks for me. Originally, the catalogs used to be written, well, the second page of the catalog used to be written in his broken, distorted text style that you would see from the video game, but I decided to make it so that the only dialogue that was written like that on the second page was the dialogue actually by his image, rather than making the sale pitches under the deals written in his dialogue as well, so that people could actually understand what's going on, because his dialogue type can be pretty difficult to decipher sometimes.
Overall, though, I'd say he did a really good job selling the casino bucks. As time went on, I got more creative with how I portrayed him on the catalogs, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, he's just like his rushing style of kind of like in your face sales approach with his character, and of course, his name's Spamton. You feel like you're getting scammed. So that's just a funny little thing. So yeah, he did a good job selling the casino bucks, and he really appealed to the 8th graders and 7th graders at the charter school I went to. And of course, a little reminder at the bottom to always check the back counter of the 7th grade classroom. Like with all things, change happens, thankfully, and the catalog desperately needed it. First, with the distribution. In the beginning, I would print 28 catalogs every 2 weeks. This waned heavily on my printer ink supply and paper supply. So one day during my recess period, I was pondering to myself with a friend, how could I possibly save money with the catalog without having to use so much printer ink and paper while getting the word out at the same time? Then I came to a conclusion. I looked around myself and I found out that I really did not give a crap about my recess period. So I decided that, hey, maybe I could walk up to people and sell them it instead, rather than printing dozens upon dozens of catalogs out. So I got a binder, I chucked all the current up-to-date catalogs in there, and I started walking around to people selling them stuff later in the year. This was one of the many solutions I came up with to a dire problem that I had. Teacher and students negotiations was a crucial part of how I was able to do this. They would become much more important in my 8th grade year, but for now, it was as simple as asking for permission to do things and keeping the teachers checked up with the schedule. You know, simple things like that. It was a charter school, so government regulations weren't as strict, thankfully, which is basically the only reason I was allowed to do this. I know at a public school, they have certain rules about money and how you're not supposed to, like, buy stuff from students. I don't know, but thankfully, this was a charter school, so I managed to get away with a lot there. But the key and most important reason I was able to do this was my reputation with the teachers. The teachers generally trusted me because I was a phenomenal student, I think at least. Of course, I would crack the average joke in class and other things like that, but it was at the appropriate time. And because I managed to earn the teacher's trust, and they trusted me enough to run this huge company that would replace student government later in my 8th grade year. Another way we went about further advancing the catalog was junk for bucks. What junk for bucks was it was a way you could buy used goods using the casino bucks that you have accumulated over time. Some of this used stuff would be like some of the stuff that you see up on the screen right now, like the old National Geographic kids comic, this toy elephant, this nice wallet here, and this whale, this broken killer whale action figure. All of the stuff varied in quality greatly, and its price reflected it. One of my most notorious sales for casino bucks was when I sold all of my Five Nights at Freddy's action figures, my Funko Five Nights at Freddy's action figures for 7,500 casino bucks, which, if we count each casino buck, is worth 500. So that's only one. I'm not going to count it all out on camera right now, but let's just say I could have gotten a lot of money off of those if I sold them on eBay for actual money. I could have gotten like $70 worth. That was one of the ways I ripped myself off with Casino Co. I remember on the second week of school, we had this really good sale for some reason. Like the price for the suitcase wasn't good enough or something already. We made one stack of casino bucks 25 cents, 2 stacks 50 cents, and we made the suitcase $2. It went from $6 to $2. So 15 stacks of casino bucks for $2. So if we get those Five Nights at Freddy's action figures I was talking about earlier for 7,500, you could have easily purchased all of those by purchasing one suitcase for $2. That was a steal of a deal back in the early days. But hey, I guess I was just trying to get the name out, so it was a good call to do then, but I don't think I would have charged it for, heck, I wouldn't have charged it for $6. I would have jacked it up to like $30 for a suitcase of casino bucks if I was doing this nowadays and looking to actually make it profitable.
Here is the front page of the catalog with the sales on it. Here's the picture of the Casino Buck catalog when the Casino Bucks would go on sale. As you can see on the bottom left corner, whenever the Casino Bucks go on sale, Spamton turns into Spamton Neo. And then here is Junk for Bucks. For the longest time, that new wallet was the most expensive thing I've ever sold on the catalog. That would change quite soon.
But yeah, me and my fellow employees all agreed that this sale was amazingly broken, and these prices wouldn't come back until the end of my 8th grade year. Now, every quarter I'd kind of release a new story. First quarter was Goalie the Casino Raptor Season 1. Second quarter would be the Dark Orb. The Dark Orb was not a comic, it was a novel, and I would release a new chapter every week. The story was about this girl, Amber, who got stuck in this dark realm somehow with her friend John as they go through this dark realm and fight magical beasts, solve these incredibly difficult puzzles, and go on to see some far more mysterious things on their way. This story took great inspiration from Deltarune, like so many other of my works throughout the Casino Co. period. Definitely not one of my best works, a classic upon my friends nonetheless, but it would definitely set up the architecture and the formatting for the books later in the series that would become be known as the Big Shot Collection. Now, the writing process for some of these stories would get rather stressful as Casino Co. went on, but for the Dark Orb, I think I remember it being rather relaxing. Sure, at the time I thought it was stressful because it had been the first time I had written a novel that was this big, but I think I remember it being a pretty novel experience. I had fun writing all the characters, I gave myself a pretty good deadline, and there was a decent planned amount of chapters. It was planned to be 7 chapters long, which it ended up being 7 chapters long, which I'm thankful for because 10 chapters is a lot to crank out, as the Just a Story stories would go to foretell. Also, there wasn't a lot of content I really wanted to go over in this book, unlike Just a Story 2, Goalie and the 7 Stars, which, trust me, we'll get to in one of the later episodes of the history of Casino Co. So yeah, I had a lot of fun writing the Dark Orb. It's audiobooked on the Big Shot Collection if you go check out the playlist on the main channel page, so please give it a listen. The audio quality really ain't that good though, because I filmed it back when I was 8th grade and didn't know how to use OBS Studio. So I had been posting these chapters on the back counter quite frequently now, and my buddy Ethan began to notice this. He would read them every once in a while and couldn't help but notice the god-awful editing in them. So one day after math class, he walks up to me and is like, "Mason, the editing in these stories suck. You wouldn't mind if I became your editor, right?" So that's how I hired my first employee. I was like, "Sure, go right ahead. Edit them. I need it, Lord knows." I'd pay him $20 per story edited. Eventually, his pay grade would get upgraded a little more per story as they got larger and more ambitious. Also, he started to get involved in more of the business side of the company as well, as we would expand to other classes in 8th grade. When my buddy Gage had heard that I hired Ethan, he was like, "Shoot, Mason, can I work for you too?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'm sure we'll find something for you to do." He would go on to edit the Goalie the Casino Raptor comics and do some IT stuff for me later down the line as well. Also, both of these people have their own YouTube channels. My buddy Ethan has Pondhopper73. I have his and my buddy's channel located on the channel homepage. If you go check out my channel homepage, they're at the very bottom. My buddy Gage's channel is called G809 Gaming, or it just might be called G809 now, I don't know. But the Goalie the Casino Raptor comics used to be the official sponsor of his YouTube channel, so that's an interesting fact to think about as well. Now, the Casino Co. entity had been around for almost half of the entire school year of my 7th grade year. Yet the name Casino Co. wasn't quite set yet. I remember I was talking with my parents at Fry's. They didn't quite like the name Casino Co. for it because casino, it's associated with gambling. That's not really a good look for the school. We thought of Goalie Casino Co. to associate it with Goalie the Casino Raptor, maybe, and a few other names that were thrown around that I forget, probably because they weren't important. But we ended up just sticking with Casino Co. because it rolls off the tongue really well, has a certain charm to it that everyone just liked. I mean, I went to a Christian charter school where all we did was sing, Hallelujah and do Bible studies and other things like that. So to see this outrageous teenager in the corner saying, "Hey, casino bucks, Casino Co., claw machines, prize wheels," was really an eye catcher for the students. So it really set us out there, and I think the student body really liked the energy of it a lot more. So I'm glad that I themed it that way, although I am surprised I got away with it. Who am I kidding? I'm surprised I got away with all of this. Up to this point, we have talked about how I was able to run a company at school and how I organized the catalogs along with the some other fun things as well. This is just the first quarter of what is a really long 7th grade year, so please stay tuned for the next episode of the History of Casino Co.